Yo, y'all. It's your dog Mac the Night, man. Coming at y'all with another reaction. Uh, Dawgface talk about Wack 100 got police connections in Detroit, man. Let's get into it.
The first incident that I had with Wack on Clubhouse, that was Clubhouse, and a couple of cats from Different Clout Chasers were involved with that whole conversation on this, on the Clubhouse situation. I don't fuck with Clubhouse at all, bro. I didn't even have a Clubhouse page then. Somebody had tagged me in my name and came up in it, and I created a Clubhouse page right quick and I got tagged in by it and jumped on there. That's how our first verbal altercation between me and Wack 100, Wack Keisha happened, bro. He reached out to me about we could go actually go out and do an interview
Yeah, he called dog Wack Keisha. That's funny as fuck, dog.
with him. And I said, yeah. So that was the interview. The interview wasn't, it was just supposed to be my perspective on all the things that I had been through since the last time I had the opportunity to talk to those guys. I didn't know that Wack was going to be a part of this shit, but he chimed in. Later, I found out that, according to the people who run Different Clout Chasers, that they run a simultaneous live stream to their Clubhouse page as well.
So meaning that while you doing your
Interview
speaking,
with them
they can hear.
on Clubhouse, yeah,
Gotcha.
absolutely, yep.
And so
I
from
didn't
that,
know that at first.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I found out after the whole explosion with me and Wack happened. He told me, yeah, we broadcast, we live stream simultaneously with what we doing here for YouTube with Clubhouse as well.
So in your conversation, he said that you kept mentioning his name, and that's what made him join on to the conversation. What exactly were you mentioning in regards to him that made him?
I can't even lie, man. That nigga Wack, man, one messy old nigga, man. It's like that nigga got little internet situations with niggas in 10 different cities. Like, bro, I don't know. Seem like a nigga that ought to be minding his business a little bit, trying to take care of his family.
Get on and start talking?
That was cap. I ain't mentioned his name at all. I was asked a question about how I felt about BG. They made reference to my previous conversation with Wack and my previous comments that I made about BG and Birdman and that whole situation, specifically when Wack was attacking BG, saying he was a snitch and all that. So he asked me a question about BG working with Birdman with the Cash Money Reunion Tour and working on a project, and Birdman being at the head of it. And he asked me how I felt about that based on what had happened in the past with the whole rat allegations and Wack 100 saying what he said. I didn't bring the bitch ass nigga name up. I don't give a fuck about him whatsoever. I'm well beyond that. I don't even talk about that shit no more. But I was asked a question about it. And he asked me if I still felt the same way now that BG was working hand in hand with Birdman after all of the turmoil with.
Yeah.
And what I said, he remembered that I said that I feel like the Birdman has sick Wack on him, on BG.
And what was your reasoning for feeling like, cause just to catch the people up, the issue is that Wack 100 basically, quote unquote, exposed BG for a case where basically BG said he had a front man. You know what I mean? It was a gun case. And with the gun case, basically BG threw somebody under the bus that agreed to be thrown under the bus or take the charge. Out, man. We all know what that is in the streets. If you of anybody of respect, or you one of those guys, it's probably best for you to have somebody like that.
Yeah, that's the same shit that happened with Biggie Smalls. Before B.I.G.'s career took off, he had called a pistol case. And his man, Gutter took the case with him because he understood that he was on the verge of going crazy, blowing up. So he took the case. So it's almost.
But that's some shit like you don't really talk about though. Like when you get to talk about that shit, that damn near make you look like a hoe ass nigga though, cause a nigga taking a charge for you out the kindness of his heart. So if you get to going back like, oh, like yeah, I paid this nigga to take a charge. Like damn, nigga, like you made me seem like a, you feel me? Like I was just, you feel me? Like my life ain't mean nothing. You feel me? Shit crazy.
A similar situation with BG, where in which he with a couple of guys, they get pulled over, but the difference is it was never BG's gun to begin with. It was always the guy's gun who got caught with the gun. When they got stopped initially by the police, he told the police that he had the gun. They ain't searched the car and found the gun. He told the police that he had a gun. He took the weight of the situation, so it wasn't like he was taking a case for BG. That's the biggest misrepresentation of facts as it relates to this whole situation. It was never BG's pistol that he passed to him, like, take that case for me.
Yeah.
It was always Dawg gun who got caught with the gun.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So Dawg said, well, I'm gonna take it, it's mine, you know what I'm saying, just kick y'all loose. I'm gonna let him know this man right off rip because it is my pistol. So that's what it was. It was never BG's situation to begin with. Dawg took the case and they talked about it before the police pulled Dawg out. Dawg volunteered that he had a gun on him.
Yeah.
They didn't get pulled out the car and get shook down. They found the gun and the pistol, and then he.
Hey, I get it. You've probably been burned before, empty promises from other SEO companies or agencies. You know, what if I did it for free? You've watched every one of our ads.
He told the police he had a pistol off rip. So it's not the same situation. But my comments about the whole thing, it wasn't even about the case, because I didn't give a fuck about that shit. It was about how Wack 100, who is known to work, according to his own admission, he's known to work in close proximity with Birdman. You know, his claim to fame right now is not game. His claim to fame wasn't Blueface, it wasn't nobody else he's working with. Whenever he's having a conversation about anything in the industry, he always mentions Birdman's name in the conversation. He's quick to talk about his association with Birdman. He's quick to talk about his affiliation with Birdman. And when he so-called exposed BG by so-called presenting the paperwork, and then he admittedly sent the paperwork to 1090 Jake, which led to 1090 Jake investigating just the whole situation. 1090 Jake came back down. He came down on a situation that it wasn't a rat situation, because old boy who took the case agreed to take the case because it was his gun. So all he agreed to do was take responsibility for what he did, right? 1090 Jake came back, like, no, that ain't no ratting based on the elements of the situation, based on what I'm reading, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. That ain't no ratting on BG part. You know what I'm saying? Old boy, he agreed to take his gun. When he came down there, and Wack admitted that he sent the paperwork initially too. However he got it, he agreed, he admitted that he sent it to 1090 Jake. For 1090 Jake, he thought 1090 Jake was going to come back down on the rat side of things, on BG. When he didn't, that's when because at first he didn't even mention it. The first mention was him, 1090 Jake. When 1090 Jake came back with a conclusion that didn't fit what Wack wanted him to say, that's when Wack started his slander campaign, speaking up himself, because 1090 Jake didn't say what he thought he was going to say about the situation after he investigated the situation.
And just for clarity purposes, your position is that being that BG and Birdman is supposed to be brothers, for you, Wack 100, basically, to be in partnership and business with Birdman, it's no way that you go out on a limb and start bashing BG without some type of consent from Birdman.
That's exactly what I'm saying. When Wack 100 first started this whole campaign against BG, when he first went on this kick, at first he was acting like that Birdman had no clue about it. He even said it on No Jumper podcast. He even said that when he started talking about that BG was a rat, that Stunner was calling him. Stunner was calling him back to back to back. He said he didn't answer. He even said that he left his phone in the No Jumper studio just so he wouldn't have to answer Birdman. Feel what I'm saying? That's the first thing he said. He said Stunner was calling me, blowing my phone down, but I wanted to say what I wanted to say, and I didn't want to have to get into a debate with Birdman about the accuracy about what I was saying. But the first thing he said was that. Then he went on saying that the information about BG came from BG's own backyard. Then he went on to say, because he was getting questioned about, if you and Birdman are in business, according to your own admission, if that's your man, you always hollering Stunner this, Stunner that, you got deals on the floor. He always talked about his business dealings with him. right? And he making it seem like to the world that him and Birdman have conversations every day about all manners of business, personal and entertainment business, right? That's the way he made it seem. And nobody else saying that. You don't see Birdman talked about Wack 100 at all. Wack 100 is the one telling the stories, trying to make himself look important and tied into Birdman by telling the whole world. We wouldn't know nothing about your relationship with Birdman. Good, bad, ugly, high or low, left or right, unless you came out on Clubhouse and all the other platforms talking about your relationship with Birdman. He said that. Then he went on and changed the story up again when he started to get questioned about, what Birdman had to say, because people was like, it was a lot of bad feedback they was getting, that Wack was getting on YouTube and other platforms about, you cool with Birdman, but you slandering BG, who Birdman saying is his son. How does that work? Right? So he was looking like a fool. So then he came down, well, I wouldn't have said that without a wink in the eye or a green light from Birdman.
He said that?
Yeah, he said that. He absolutely said that. And then he went a step further and said that,
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with
do you think, with my relationship with Stunner, do you think that I would have said what I was saying about BG? He said I would have never said that about BG because that's going to fuck up Stunner money. So even if I knew for a fact that Jizzle was a rat, I would have never said it. Why would I do something like that? And I got partnerships and understandings and a relationship with Birdman. I'm getting money with Birdman. I would have never threw BG under the bus if it wasn't for the wink in the eye or the go.
Man, he do a lot of messy shit though. Like that shit ain't, I don't know. Nigga just always be in niggas' business and saying, putting allegations on niggas and just, I don't know, man. I feel like any dude that be trying to expose people and do that type of shit, you a different type of person though, cause it's like, why you even care? You feel me? Like, I don't know. It just be like, it seemed like it be so much other shit going on, or should be going on that you shouldn't even, like, that shouldn't even be I don't know, some shit that come across your mind, but I don't know. Guess everybody be different, man. To each his own.
Here from home base, which is Stunner 101. He said that as well. All the fellas got to do is go back and look at the YouTube shit. It's on YouTube. He keeps switching up his stories and adding and enhancing and taking it away according to whatever conversation he's having at any particular point in time. But yeah, and my whole thing is this. Let me give you an example. The latest thing with somebody connected to Birdman was Drake. Drake was part of the YMCMB shit, right? He considers Drake one of his sons, quote unquote. No Diddy, right? When Kendrick Lamar was going back and forth with Drake, one of the first persons to speak up on Drake's behalf was Stunner. He came out and made public statements about in support of Drake. So let's back up for a second. It ain't about what a motherfucker said or didn't say. It's about what a motherfucker did or didn't do. Somebody who's in close proximity to you, according to Wack 100, he's in close proximity to all things Birdman. He got inside information. He got the inside scoop. He talked to him. They're confidants of each other. They talk to each other. They fuck with each other. That's a known fact. We can't get away from that. You come out and you say something about Drake, Birdman, in defense of Drake. About what? About some rap lyrics? Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef ain't even real beef. Ain't no real shit from the street. It's just a difference of opinion of two guys who once were cool, fell out with each other. You come out and you say something about Drake in defense of Drake, but you don't say shit about Wack 100's continuous attack on BG. Nothing. You don't make no statement, good, bad, at all. Your silence is an admission to.
Cause at the same time though, cause that nigga done diss Birdman, all type of shit. Like Birdman probably looking past some shit, but it's like, nigga, I ain't finna be coming to your defense and you done said whole shit about me. Like, you feel me? I can look past some shit, but you feel me? That's some shit you gotta take up with Dog who said it. I can't lie. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like that was Birdman business for real.
How you really feel. Because if that wasn't how you feel, you would have said something to Wack.
And so that, and just for clarity, because I'm
But he said he tried to, the way he was calling Wack though? No, I don't know.
Basically taking everything you saying and just trying to, you know what I mean, make sure that it's a full understanding there. When Wack 100 yesterday was saying, what facts do you got to say that I got consent from Birdman? You're saying 2 + 2 = 4.
2 + 2 = 4, but I'm saying more than that. One of the last things that he said when it was really hot, it was a really hot topic, he said that he talked to Birdman. He said, quote unquote, do you think I would have said what I said about BG, who's like Birdman's son? Do you think I would have said what I said about him and Birdman not be okay with it? He even mentioned the fact that Birdman said nothing about it in defense of BG, one way or the other. So when a motherfucker is not going to come out and say anything about what somebody who's saying they're connected to you, when you saying something about somebody else they are supposed to be connected to?
Yeah.
Nature is taking back all that was once hers. We were the virus. Permanent payback. But maybe the...
That's
Yeah.
self-evident.
No, I get
Don't
that.
take no rocket science, but what Wack 100 is doing, what he doing is, man, he changing up the narrative each conversation he have to fit whatever it is point he trying to make at that particular point in time, man. Motherfuckers ain't stupid, and I hate to even say motherfuckers ain't stupid because this is more than obvious. To this day, Birdman has not came out and said nothing about anything Wack 100 has said negatively about BG.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
One thing that Wack, he was calling you a clout chaser. And one thing that he was using to say that you was a clout chaser is the fact that you have any relationships with him, which is Wack 100, BG, or Birdman. What is your response to that? Do you have a relationship with anybody out of those three?
I have a relationship with BG. BG's auntie is Carol Dorsey, who you know. Before BG went to prison, did that last 14 years, BG was in Detroit, bro. Right? His manager was his aunt, Carol Dorsey. Carol Dorsey is from Louisiana. She's from New Orleans, but she's been living in Detroit for 25 years. Carol Dorsey is the person who introduced me to the management business, the behind-the-scenes role that I play now in many respects. I mentored under Carol Dorsey, his aunt, right? I mentored under Red Garrett, Wide Open Management, who put the money up for BG to start Chopper City Records. So I was around him prior to him going to the penitentiary, right? And since he's been home, I've talked to him. Wack 100 ain't talked to Jizzle since he's been out of prison. He did 14 years. Wack ain't had a conversation, because don't forget, Wack started attacking him almost immediately. So what conversation did he have with Jizzle?
So basically, with that being said,
when you coming out and you slandering somebody I know, I'm gonna speak up in defense of somebody who I know, who I fuck with. Simple as that. 019 Entertainment is a label that we all started together, which is an extension of what BG got going on. Me, OG Freeze, with a blessing of B Jizzle. So I don't gotta, he can say what he wanna say. I don't gotta explain my relationships with nobody with you, bitch ass.
one thing I heard that you was putting emphasis on was Wack 100's affiliation or connection with Detroit. You kept saying that he had family in Detroit.
Yeah.
But you kept saying that his family is the police.
They are.
Do you now? Is this? I'm just asking.
Wack
Is this?
100's family in Detroit. He has family in Detroit and family right outside Detroit in Inkster. Wack 100's family, he has several people in his family who are police officers, period. So when he talks about coming to Detroit, any affiliations with Detroit, you don't never hear him mentioning none of the OGs. You don't never hear him mentioning Free Lord Wine. You don't hear him mentioning Trick, right? He's familiar with both of them people, but you don't never hear him using their names, dropping their names in no conversation to talk about Detroit. Most times when folks who are not from Detroit talk about their relationship with Detroit, they talk about folks who are really moving and shaking. You don't never hear him talk about nobody who you're affiliated with who really got a name and in good standings. You just hear him talk about his family in Detroit. His family in Detroit, in the metropolitan Detroit area, they're the police.
How do you know that?
Because people know him. People know his family. People have seen him move and shaking with who are the police, who are his blood, kin, related, mother, family members. It ain't no secret. The only secret about it is the one he trying to keep like when I questioned him about it, you heard him say, "Oh, I asked him, do you fuck your people with the police?" My people, they do everything in Detroit.
I did hear that. I heard.
What you mean? Nigga, I asked you, was they the fucking police? That's what I asked you. I didn't ask you if a nigga was a scientist. I didn't ask you, bitch ass, if a nigga was a gardener. I didn't ask you if a bitch was a CNA in your family. One of them dog hit holes in your family was a CNA. I asked your bitch ass, is your people the fucking police? Nigga, when you come here, do you roll around with the police? Don't be acting like you coming here hitting east side and hitting west side with niggas from the hood, because you ain't. You roll around secure with the fucking law enforcement. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, that's kind of tough, man. I can't really,
Rule number 3,
you know.
you can't get rich slow. When I owned 100 houses,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really can't say nothing about him going, like, his family being a hook, man. Everybody got a hook in their family, you know. I don't see nothing. The dog is messy as hell, for sure. He definitely messy as hell, like, you know. Always in the nigga business and shit, you know. Like, why you wanna try to put that shit on BG? What's the point of that shit? You feel me? Yeah, man. That's another reaction, man. One time for the city.